Alright, hey guys, today I'm doing a new video in Adobe After Effects and I'll be going over how to create Plexus particle pathways. So I'll be showing you how to do that, but this time it'll be a lot simpler and a lot quicker because I'm giving away a project file. So again, these strokes slash particle pathways, whatever you want to call it, can be seen in my last AMV. So you can see that right here and it looks pretty cool. And what's really nice about this is it's super customizable, so you can change the color, the size, the speed, whatever you want. It's completely customizable. And there's two reasons I'm giving away this project file. And the first one is because we did hit 4,000 hours of view time, which is really awesome. And the second reason I'm giving this away is because the first reason is because the channel has been remonetized, which is awesome. And the second reason is because if you guys were to do this custom and try to make it all yourself, it would take a very long time. So I decided just to give this away and save you guys some time and effort, and you guys can just play around with it and get some really nice particles slash plexus. So with that in mind, I think we can jump into the video. We're going to start off by showing you how to download and install it. So in the description of the video, you're going to find a link and it will be to Mediafire. So you're just going to click on the link and click download right here, and you should download an After Effects project file called Plexus Particles. Once you have that installed, you can drag it to your desktop or you can double click it, and that will open up the After Effects project and take you to this screen right here. So if you preview through, you will be able to see this is the custom slash basic particle slash plexus effect. So you can see that as you scrub through. And right now, if I were to place footage underneath or anything, it would go right on top and it would look really nice. But I think the biggest thing is showing you guys how you can customize this and what everything inside of it does. So just double click on this, and now we're in the main part of the effect, and this is where everything is placed. So we have the plexus, we have the particles, which are actually red particles in this case. And everything is here. So the first thing I wanted to go over is custom path, because that is probably the biggest thing that people will want. So you can see if you preview through that right now it's going in a path like this. So if you wanted a different pathway, maybe you wanted it going this way, or maybe you wanted it at a different angle or different size or whatever, you're going to go into mask path and you're going to double click that, and that will take you in here. Oops, actually maybe you don't have to double click. Alright, you don't have to double click. So in pathways, just stay right here. Turn this on and you should see a white stroke going through. And this is your tracker. So what that means is wherever this white line is going, that is where the plexus will be following. So hit mask, hit M on your keyboard for mask, and we're going to open up our masks. And we can just get rid of these. So I'm just going to select them and delete them. And then I'm going to set up another mask path. You will have to reset stroke. So maybe I wanted the stroke to go somewhat like this. Try not to make it too rough. We want it as smooth as we can. So maybe we wanted the path to be something like this. And try to keep these parallel so that it is as smooth as possible. So let me just reset stroke, so you should see that white line. So we set up the path, we reset the stroke, and then we're going to turn up brush size to 6. And depending on how you want this to move, I want it to start here and end here. So I'm going to be keyframing end. I'm going to keyframe at 0. Scrub through, keyframe it. And I'm just going to hit U so I can check out my keyframes. Let me delete this. And it doesn't have to be the same length. It's actually better if you pull it out a little bit. And then again, just make sure it's right click, keyframe assistant, and easy ease, so you have this as smooth as possible. So once you have this set up, this is where you want your plexus slash particles to follow. What you're going to do is go into layer, auto trace, and you're going to hit OK right there. So this is going to track the mask path that will drive the Plexus. Oops. Okay, before you do that, I'm sorry, I forgot. Change this to on transparent. So I forgot because we reset it, but in your stroke, make sure this is set to on transparent so that it'll actually track the stroke. Alright, let's try that one more time. Auto trace. And we're just going to let that trace. Once it's traced, you're going to see these points on your white stroke. And if you hit U on the keyboard, oh actually M on the keyboard for masks, you're going to see that there is a new mask that appeared and it has all these points tracked. So this is what we need. We're going to grab all of these, Control C to copy them, and we're done with this, so we can just shut this off for now. Now we're going to find our Plexus effect, so that's right here. Hit M for mask. Drag your indicator right to the beginning, select all of these points, delete them, and paste, and actually get rid of the mask, we don't need this. And then paste the new mask in just like that. And now you will see that the Plexus now follows this new pathway, like so. The particles are separate, so it won't follow the same path, but you see that the actual Plexus is following this pathway, which is what we wanted. So we have that set up. Now we're going to work with the particles. So particles work a little bit differently. The particles are actually tracked with this null, so if you hit U on the null, you're going to see all of these keyframes, and this is just tracking the particles. So if you do change the Plexus to a different pathway, you're going to have to delete all of these particles. And we have it starting from this side, so keeping this light in mind, we're going to drag this all the way across and down a little bit, just like so. And then just set a keyframe here. And as you scrub through the footage and you start seeing the Plexus come up, you're going to start moving this across and set this right to the front. So you do know that the pathway should be the same as this one, so if you lose track, you can always select that to remind yourself of where it should be going. So we want this across, and we want this to go up, and we do want this to go down a little bit, so let me just pull this down. Oh, set a new point, okay. So again, you don't have to spend too much time on this because the particles don't have to be perfect because they're so small and they're moving around constantly, but just set a couple of keyframes. The more you set, of course, the smoother it is going to be. Again, it doesn't have to be too perfect, we're just going to get this done really quickly. And once this is done, you may see that some points are a little bit off, so you can see that right here. We can just drag these to readjust them. Oops. Let me not drag this. Let me drag this point. Can I not drag the point? Interesting. Oh, seems not. So I'm just going to smooth it out then with these lines. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now if I preview through, you see now that the particles and the Plexus are going in new direction, which is pretty neat. That is what we were trying to do. The final thing I wanted to go over was coloring and how you would change the coloring and stuff like that. So in terms of the Plexus particles, we're going to go again into Plexus and just scroll down, and you're going to see 4-color gradient. So the way I did set this up is again with the same tracking that the particles go through. if you hit U on your keyboard, you will see a bunch of keyframes for 4-color gradient. And I'm going to do this very quickly. Let's say I want the color to be blue this time. I'm going to set it to the color I want. I'm going to place a point right here and keyframe it. And then very quickly, just set the point here. Set the point here. Let me pick a lighter blue so it shows a little better. There we go. And then you can do this very fast without taking too much time. And just like that, you have set up the new color for the Plexus. So you can see that right there. And again, the reason that it's stopping so suddenly is because our mask path was not long enough. If you want it going for longer, you'd have to change the mask path and just drag it out so the stroke is longer. So that is how you color the Plexus. And here, our color for particles is here, under particle, and it's just right here. So you can set this to whatever color you want. Maybe you want a nice light blue. I'd select something like that. And now you guys can see we have completely changed it around relatively quickly without going through too much effort. We created a completely custom Plexus path, so it looks really nice. Alright, so not bad. If you guys do want to play around with Plexus, you guys can do that, but I won't go too in depth or else this video will be a little too long. I'm going to leave that at here. The final thing that I think I wanted to do was in your particle Plexus path, when you are done playing around with the effect, let me just cut this short so when it stops moving, I'm just going to cut this off. So when you are done, actually I don't need to shorten this. I would recommend using Time Warp, or if you have Twixtor, that's even better. The reason I didn't add that in the project file already is because I would use Twixtor, but not everyone has Twixtor installed. So if you have Twixtor, use Twixtor. If you don't have Twixtor, use Time Warp and just throw that in. So Time Warp is the other one. Time Warp right here, and this is built into After Effects. So drag that in, and even if the speed is at 100, but I would recommend decreasing this a little bit, so maybe 80%. And then it really makes the effect a lot more smoother and look a lot nicer. So let me preview this one more time for you guys and show you how it looks at the end. All right. So again, you may not be able to notice it, but it does look a lot smoother and a lot nicer. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed the project file, and I hope you guys can create some really cool particles in Plexus with it. I will be posting a lot more in the future, so stay tuned, and thank you all for watching.